Welcome back to the news at 10. Governor Tanko Al-Makura of Nasarawa State has appealed to his people to sustain the existing peace and stability ahead of the local government elections holding next month. Now, he made the call while inaugurating the Nasarawa Youth Empowerment Scheme, which has fostered the training of 1,470 youths trained as security watchers and traffic marshals in the Kefi axis. He says the scheme will go a long way towards minimizing conflicts and security threats.
This youth, numbering 1,470, are the first batch of young people trained to be community watchers, traffic marshals, and sanitary inspectors in Nasarawa State. They have undergone 2 weeks of intensive military and security training for these roles.
The traffic marshals has to do with the regulation of vehicle, knowing how to allow vehicles to move in a kind of traffic pattern, while in the aspect of community watchers, to know the strategy and the mechanism of conflict resolution.
The training regiments of these youths were drawn from both the military and paramilitary training modules, which has prepared them for the task ahead.
I want to highlight that all those trainers that train these people are from good institutions of the military. They are now retired, putting heads together to make sure that these young ones have also gotten something reasonable to do for their lives.
There are so many things going on in my environment, and with this training I'm sure I'll be able to put one or two things together.
The state governor says the Youth Empowerment Scheme is part of government's initiative to engage unemployed youths in dealing with societal vices.
1,470 unemployed youths were selected from different parts of the state and exposed to training in the past 2 weeks for their eventual engagement as traffic marshals, TM, sanitary inspectors, to enhance community vigilance and checkmate the phenomenon of insecurity in our society. The idea of training some vibrant youths as community watchers was conceived. I need to state that this initiative will go a long way in minimizing occurrences of conflicts and security threats in the society.
The training of these youths is coming at a time when the state government is intensifying efforts at tackling security challenges and youth restiveness in the state. Many residents of Nasarawa State hope that this scheme will be sustained even in subsequent administrations to truly address these issues.
An attorney representing the former leader of the movement for the emancipation of the Niger Delta, Henry Oka, has described the recent media reports of a thwarted jailbreak attempt credited to the spokesperson of the South African Correctional Services as totally ridiculous. Speaking to our correspondent Betty Dibia in Johannesburg, South Africa, Mr. Idemudia Uresi says all the stories regarding an attempted jailbreak are mere fabrications and do not make sense, especially bearing in mind that his client had won a leave to appeal his conviction and sentencing in November last year. Mr. Oka was sentenced to 24 months in jail in South Africa last March after being convicted of masterminding 2 bomb blasts in Warri and Abuja in 2010.
As far as I know, Henry had been requesting to be allowed to see his private dentist, which in terms of the Correctional Services Act is allowed. A prisoner can apply and it can be granted. We have a couple of them who have, without problems, gone to see their dentist or their private medical practitioners. That request went unheeded for a while, and then he decided, I've had enough. I'm gonna take this matter to court and force them. Not long after that, there was this claim of an attempted escape, which is absolutely nonsense. In terms of which, I have 2 affidavits from 2 prison inmates who claim that in their affidavits, they were forced to make false statements about so-called escape. It is totally not true. I think it was it basically, in my opinion, was an attempt to try and subvert us going to court. They don't like it when you take them to court, so it's just snowballed since then. They transferred him straight to Pretoria from that. We're still fighting the prison services in Pretoria. So, but as far as any escape is concerned, he has not been, arraigned before a disciplinary hearing. He's not been found guilty of any attempted escape. So we think it's just a bogus ploy that they used, to destabilize what we were trying to do.
Now, in a bid to ease the challenges faced by persons living with disabilities in Nigeria, the National Human Rights Commission is pushing for increased access to public buildings and places. At a forum in Calabar, the Cross River State capital, the Executive Secretary of the Commission, Professor Ben Angwe, said this will help eliminate the barriers that inhibit such persons and protect their rights.
Not even their condition can stop them from dancing to the music. It's all about them at this event. The National Human Rights Commission, determined to protect the rights of persons living with disabilities, teams up with concerned persons in the private and public sector.
Brothers and sisters who have one form of disability or the other are not discriminated against, are not disqualified from accessing beautiful buildings that we have in this country, public offices that serve Nigerians.
The chairman of the Nigerian Association of the Blind, Jacob Agba, is worried about the discrimination against them.
We know that employment has been highly restricted here in Cross River State, but the few that have been employed in Cross River State, how many are persons living with disability? Because there should be some percentage. If there is not, then we have failed.
For those living with disabilities, the enforcement of the laws protecting them is enough to boost their confidence.
First Bank, truly the first.
Indeed, it's time for business news. Loretta Chogo joins us now. Hi, Loretta.
Of course, hi. This is the business scene of the news, and we begin with the report that says the Bank of Industry is playing a key role in the federal government's industrialization program. Now, the managing director of the Bank of Industry, Ms. Evelyn Oputu, says the BOI is looking to empower more entrepreneurs in order to meet the industrialization target. Ms. Oputu, who spoke to a correspondent in Abuja, wants Nigerians to embrace the program.
When we started in terms of a paradigm shift, we said actually industrialization that affects the Nigerian people. Well, the president now took it to a different level. Industrialization that includes everyone. Because in the past, there are some people who cannot have access to funds. The president has already made available to the Bank of Industry a portion of those funds. So it is not just the average Nigerian in the middle class we're looking at now. We're looking at women, we're looking at the vulnerable in society, we're looking at youth. Even the handicapped people are getting involved in industry, in production. So it is all of what the president has been doing, which remains unsung, that we're actually showing Nigerians to come and participate. Because it is one thing for the Bank of Industry to be giving these funds. It is another for the average Nigerian to see what his neighbor is doing, how he's changing his own life, how he's changing the life of the vulnerable. We call them the bottom of the pyramid. Those people who 10,000 naira make a lot of difference to. Who can employ 1-2 people. Those people who ordinarily would not have their children go to school because they're waiting for handouts. Now they're going to be actual responsible and respected citizens in our society. We want the whole world to see what we're doing.
Now generating 40,000 megawatts of electricity by the year 2020 is dependent on government sincerity, so says some power generation experts. They, however, agreed that the use of alternative energy source and the prudent administration of intervention funds will bring about the actualization of uninterruption of power supply. If you're about to embark on a building project and you're wondering what sanitary fittings will be suitable for you, well then put a smile on, as one of the world's leading manufacturers of sanitary fittings, Grohe, has bettered in Nigeria. The public presentation of the company in Lagos aims at entrenching its foothold within the African continent. Our correspondent BC Coker tells us more.
This is a gathering of architects, interior designers, and other stakeholders in construction and property sector. They are here to have a feel of German sanitary fittings maker Grohe's groundbreaking designs for the Nigerian market. With a strong presence in 130 countries already, the company's management gives reasons for expanding into Nigeria.
Nigeria and West Africa is for us a very, very interesting market. It's a growing market. We are the most international brand worldwide with a 10% market share, standing for quality, technology, design, and we are very proud to be here.
Now, let's get to know more about these products and the targeted consumers.
We are introducing, in the age of digital technology, the first shower that you can operate through your iPod Touch, where you can plug it in and then control the lights, the sound inside the shower enclosure, and as well the flow of your showering experience. And the second one, and I think as well it is quite practical for everybody at home, is a kitchen faucet that you don't need to look and search for the lever if your hands are dirty and then you are using them in the kitchen, but you simply touch it through your, on your wrist or elbow or whatever, anywhere you touch the faucet, the water will run out or come out, and then you can clean your hands. So now we have basically what we have internationally is a channel model. So roughly 40-50% of the business is project business. So when it comes to hotels like this, big projects, residential, hospitals, etc. And the other part is a renovation market, where we also see where private consumers renovate their house, want to have something new, and we offer a lot of this.
Grohe has been described as a brand with great capacity for innovation. And with its birth in Nigeria, the company is promising end users across the country a wonderful bathroom experience that will last a lifetime. Prissy Coker, Channels Television News.
Finally on business tonight, the key benchmark indices ended in red on the back of low bargain sentiments as the bears reclaimed the market breadth. Our correspondent again, BC Coker, brings the analysis of trading at the local bears. Hello and welcome to the Stock Markets Report. Profit-taking continued at the local bourse today, pulling down the benchmark index by 0.48% to 40,450.61 points. Market capitalization dropped to 12.96 trillion naira. On the decliners table, Nestle lost the most with 14 naira 35 kobo, and that's 1.26%, with 36 other stocks trailing behind. 14 stocks appreciated, with 7up taking the lead. And on the volume charts, FBN Holdings pulled the highest volumes of shares at 58.56 million units, ahead of Guaranty Trust Bank and UBA. When the closing bell rang, total volume of shares for Tuesday stood at 343.04 million units and valued at 4.36 billion naira. And that's a wrap on the Stock Markets Reports. I am BC Coker. Thank you, BC. Thank you, BC. And that's it on Business. It's back to Ijoma for the rest of the news.
First Bank, truly the first.
Still ahead on the news at 10, competitors from over 60 Nigerian universities assemble in Ile-Ife for the 24th edition of the Luga Games. That will be on Sports News. So good join us again.